What is up, everybody? Renfail here. I have a special request video. Someone had asked me to talk a little bit about the difference between playing this game in online versus offline mode, because there is an option in this game to just play it completely offline if you want to, as a single player game. And you know, it's an interesting way to play. It's kind of like really going into the deep core aspect of like a creative mode where it's just you and the universe that you're creating. And then there's the stuff where if you want to do things with friends or other players, you totally can. So I like the fact that there's two options in the game. So because this was requested in the post we did on YouTube, I am answering this in video format today. So if this is your first time tuning in, first of all, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. And if you'd like to feature one of your questions answered in video format, tune in to one of the live streams or keep an eye out for posts and polls and things when we vote on them. Here on YouTube, we also do Discord, Twitch, all the socials. Just follow along everywhere. That's the easiest way to make sure that you're going to continue to get updates every time, all the time. So to start off with, you can go ahead in the first screen you go to, and it gives you a very generic description of the options, where you can go to Network. And I play in multiplayer mode by default. It's just because I don't mind there being other peoples around, and the ability to do trade with other players and things of that nature. For me, it just makes the game a little more, you know, I think that I was going to say feel more alive, but the reality is that any game that's this big, that has procedural generation of this scale, you're going to find that the player base is largely disconnected because they're all off exploring their own portions of the galaxy. And there are quests and things that will bring people together. But for the most part, you're going to be playing this game as a single player RPG in the first place. So I keep multiplayer turned on, but I turn voice chat off because I don't need to deal with voice chat. You know, I've had some mishaps with voice chat and people saying really inappropriate things when I'm streaming. So we don't do that. But multiplayer, I do keep it turned on. And here you can see it says, if enabled, this may encounter other players as you explore the universe. This will be more noticeable in high traffic areas such as the space anomaly. And even if multiplayer is disabled, players will still be able to join your group if you invite them. So it's still, you can still have people come to your private galaxy if you invite them to join you on a group to go to Great Grandpa, which is really cool. So if you've been watching the streams and any of the videos I've been doing, I do everything in multiplayer. So we're going to turn this off today and put it into solo mode, to put it into offline mode so that we can actually see what this looks like. Now, the first thing this does is it turns off the online component. So when we go to the space anomaly, we're not going to see other players. It's just going to be us. Also, any sort of group missions, group quests, those are now turned off because we're in offline mode. And also, when you're in offline mode, all of your discoveries and everything else that you make from the time you turn offline on, those are basically locked to you and do not get uploaded. And the flip side of that is that if you plan on discovering something, and maybe you found something that you wanted to discover, and then you decide later on that I'm going to put it into first-person mode, or first-person, I'm going to put it into offline mode to go to that planet and explore that planet in offline mode, because I don't want to be, you know, I don't want to run the risk of other players finding things before me and other things. If you do that, there is the risk, however low, that someone in the time between you go offline to go discover that planet or whatever, or get to that planet, they go there and discover it before you. And then if you ever reconnect back to the multiplayer, you will find that that planet has been discovered by someone else, even though maybe you thought you had got to it first. So that's something to keep in mind about the way discoveries work, at least as far as I understand them. So once that's off, we can hit apply. And we can go ahead and go back and log into my game. And we'll load in. The other benefit to this that I've heard, I've not particularly seen this because I haven't been playing in the offline mode, is I've been told that, you know, the random disconnects and things you would get when you go to the anomaly, as an example, which I've had happen a few times, don't happen here because of the fact that you're in your own personal space. So we're going to boogie out of here. Well, the first things we're going to do is we're going to go to the anomaly, which is right over here. So you can take a look at what this looks like. Oh, we're still in the proximity of this ship. We've got to get out a little bit. think we actually chose the planet, not the anomaly. Hang on. There we go. Took me to get the anomaly centered. So we're arriving in 30 seconds. So this will be the big part of when you're playing solo in an offline format, is that most of the stuff that has to deal with anomaly is just going to be you. This also means that you won't run into random people who you can trade with. There's also won't be random encounters with other players who have freighters, things of that nature. I suppose there is for some players, and I'm gonna say this as a caveat, because it just does appeal to some players. But the PvP component doesn't really even come into play as far as I understand it. I've not seen any PvP. The way I understand it is that there is PvP, but you can only attack players who are also choosing to participate in... what is this ship that's turning with me? Seriously, what was that? Never seen that before. We know it's not another player because we're in offline mode. But as you can see, we come in here, and for the first time ever, we have a smooth as silk transition. I have never seen a transition into the anomaly be that smooth. It's always been, you're logging in and there's like different ships jumping across the screen and different people as it tries to figure out exactly what it's going to load. So it's there if you want it to be. But PvP in this game it's really unlikely that you're ever going to come across it, given the fact that you have to be willing to participate in it. So in terms of playing offline or online, really it's just the preference of whether or not you want the ability to run into other players, or whether you just want it to be completely empty space like this. Which honestly, if you play it like this, it would be more like you're the lone human in the galaxy and you're uncovering all this ancient technology and alien races and everything else. And when you do it with other people, it's more like you're in a great big co-op MMO environment where you're exploring everything else, like checking out the Nexus and other things and beyond. So honestly, the way I play the game, I haven't really noticed too much of what I would consider to be a difference just from logging in right now. But I do know that the way I play in an online format hasn't taken away from my single player experience. Like, I'm playing this game as a single player RPG. I'm genuinely curious what happens if we turn the network on right now as we're in the anomaly. I just turned it on. Now, does it automatically start loading players in? It did not appear to do so, so I would be willing to bet that if I take off on my ship... Nope, there they went. There they went. It just took moving around a second. Woo! All sorts of other people started populating. Other people are landing. Other ships, other players. It was that simple. It only took, what, a few seconds for it to realize, hey, he's connected to the multiplayer. Let's bring all the other players in. And from here you can run around, you can interact with other people, see them. But, you know, I've been playing for a while now. I don't know how many days. But I've never had a single other player interaction ever. So from my perspective, the game plays exactly the same in the online version as opposed to the offline version. But since someone had asked, I wanted to put this video out there to fulfill that request. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Daily streams at 11 a.m. here and on Twitch. There are socials. There's a Discord, a Patreon. And don't forget, if you tune in and ask questions and answer the polls, you might get featured in one of the upcoming videos as well. Till next time, everybody, stay safe. Happy gaming.